Hello friends, this is Charlie Murphy here. Thank you for choosing my video. Playing a session of 1-2 No Limit 6 Max games on Ignition right now. Thank you for joining. New to Table 3, have a very likely recreational player playing about 45 blinds deep. He limps in middle position. Player limps behind. That could go either way. Some players will limp behind recreational players with certain types of hands. I, however, am not really one of them. And I'm with King Jack suited in the blinds. I'm going to go ahead and pop this up and try to isolate against the known recreational player or take it down pre-flop. Well, about 6.5 blinds there against the two limpers. Might have tried to steal in this blind on blind situation with King 6 had these guys folded out. Against a recreational player that tends to be passive, that hand's maybe only slightly outside a profitable or at least neutral open range against the optimal player. Against a guy open limping and playing short stack, I'm going to be able to play more hands. So I think I would have tried to steal with the King 6. Of course, it never happened with the 3 and 4 betting going on over here with the cutoff and button. Would have opened 4-3 suited from the button. Again, kind of on the cusp of a hand that's profitable. Maybe slight loser in optimal conditions, but we have a fish in the blinds. Prefer to use these speculative hands when there's recreational players that have deeper stacks than 40 blinds, but I still would have opened that. This guy has been playing kind of weird so far. He's 31-15. 3 of the cold calls have come from the small blind, only 1 from the big blind. Not quite sure that he's a wreck or not. He doesn't seem like a real traditional aggressive alpha reg type, that's for sure. Maybe he's not a true wreck. I'm undecided, but worth keeping an eye on him to see what else he does. Short stack over here is a wreck. It's the limp in the isolation, be treating this pretty much a cold 4-bet spot. A hand like 7 deuce, obviously not in that range. I think I'd go broke with queens plus ace king there against the cutoff isolation. Table 3, I will open jack 9 from the cutoff. This guy's limp calling and leading into the razor in a multi-way pot. His stack is not long for this world. Maybe he survives this particular hand, but I'd be very shocked if he leaves with any of his money. Table 3, I'll go ahead and open aces from middle position. Table 2 against the cutoff limper, I'll just check in the big blind with 8-6 suited, and I'll check on that flop. Table 1, get a 2.5x open from the cutoff. I am in the big blind with queen 4 suited, and go ahead and defend with that. Table 4, going to open 8-5 suited. Table 1, going to go ahead and check. Just go ahead and check the 8 high on table 2. Try to steal the river there. We've got a 4 straight river. I'm just going to go ahead and pot it. Try to fold out. Whatever else he might have, represent the ace for the 4 straight. Table 3, multi-way can go ahead and bet the flop small on the king 7 deuce 2-tone board. I've got overpair with pocket aces and a weak player in position against me. My raised on table 2 will just go ahead and fold. Table 4, I get a low board, 5-4 deuce. I'm going to go ahead and use a half pot bet. I'll split my range on this low board here with a top pair against a guy with 15 blinds. I'm just going to go ahead and try to get some money in. Table 1, I'll fold against the small continuation bet with nothing really going for the hand. Table 2, I will limp in against the limper for my small blind with queen 4. Table 3, going to keep betting here. Let's see. I think I'll go half pot on the turn. Sets me up with pot size river jam or slight overbet all in. Table 1, blind on blind. I've got 10-7. I go ahead and open that first hand. Slightly loose, but I think it's reasonable to be a bit loose blind on blind. The in-position player, non-recreational player, calls my turn, half pot bet. He's got 24-30 behind him and a pot of 23-27. We're just going to go ahead and put the rest in and, you know, show me 2 pair. Or give me your stack. Get a half pot bet. I've got bottom pair and 10-8-4 over here on table 2. I'll check call. Gin turn for me, giving me trip 4s. Recreational player does call down and calls down bad. Now over here on table 2, he checked back the turn. River is a 7 that could have made some straights. I don't think I want to overbet this. I think I just want to try to get called down by his 1 pair and 2 pair type hands. Go ahead and use a more reasonable bet size there, 3/4 pot. Table 1, I'm in the cutoff with king jack. Middle position goes ahead and opens 3x. Might be slightly loose to 3-bet that one. Right on the cusp. I think I'll pass that one up. In my pocket aces hand, he called me down with a weak king, king 5 of hearts. Happy with the way that hand was played. Table 2, got an under the gun recreational player Olympian. I will isolate from the button with jack 10. Table 1, 8-6 suited is kind of on the cusp of opening here. These guys, well, this guy listed as a recreational player justifies playing looser, so I'm coming in with that. We have a squeeze situation over here on table 4. A raise from middle position, a call on the button, and then a call again on the small blind. I'm going to go ahead and put in my squeeze. Table 2 going to open 10-9 from the cutoff. Table 3, just go ahead and check my weak top pair on that multi-way monotone flop. Linked pre-flop. Table 2, get called in position and by the recreational player in the small blind. And king, king 4, I'm just going to go ahead and check. Decent turn card for me, though, on that table. I'll go ahead and bet out half pot now. Mostly for equity denial. I want to fold out some ace high, some hands, some, you know, queens or jack type hands that could actually outdraw me but won't otherwise put money in. Can look to check back the river if I'm worried about being trapped. Table 2, going to open deuces from middle position. Table 1, going to go ahead and put a continuation bet on king 7-4 rainbow against the big blind who called my middle position open. I do have a gut shot to the nuts, which is nice, and it'll be pretty stealthy if it comes in. Table 3 is going to try to check down my weak pair of 10s on that monotone paired board and ace pulled on the river. Not too much value in really trying to get value. Not too much merit in trying to get value. He bets multi-way. Not really folding the fish, but he's sized up a little bit. If it's half pot, I think I'm calling. Size up there where you could have the ace, the trips, or a flop flush, all that stuff. I think I'll just go ahead and fold. You have a guy that seems like a pretty good creative reg so far on table 2, 3-bets me. I'm going to go ahead and defend that 3-bet, especially for the kind of small size with my pocket pairs. Deuces will be real easy if I spike that 3rd deuce on the flop, check raise, and start getting money in. If I whip, just go ahead and give it up. He goes ahead and checks back the flop. I've seen him do some tricky things. He flatted kings to a 3-bet pre-flop and stacked me in a low board against my smaller overpair, pocket nines versus pocket kings. I could see him checking back some hands that just aren't planning to fold. Given that I think he's kind of a thinking, tricky player, he could also have queens that didn't check that checked back that flop and now is never folding. Jacks or tens aren't folding to one barrel, but could probably be moved off on rivers where they don't improve. I think I'm just going to go ahead and not get too out of line here, given I don't have a great feel for where I'm at and what this guy could be doing. I think I'll just take the safer route and check fold the deuces on the turn. Table 1, get a 2.5x button open. I'll defend my big blind with ace-8 and check the flop. Mostly check folding this board, queen, jack, 6, rainbow. Small flop bet I like to attack, especially in later positions, looser formations, but I'd rather have some kind of backdoor equity at least to do so. I think I'll just go ahead and fold ace-8. There's no cards I love really barreling on. Get a limper in the middle position in the small blind. Also a recreational player goes ahead and limps. I'm going to go ahead and pop up from the blinds with my queen jack. Sucks to get checked or limp jammed on by this guy. I don't think he's doing it that much. Just picking up the blinds, the dead money pre-flop, which is never a bad outcome. Table 4, we have the cutoff open, kind of a more reggy type size, 2.2x. I'm in the small blind with king 9 suited. We're going to go ahead and put in a 3-bet. Table 1, queen 8 is not a standard button open for me. Usually queen 9 or better. Hands like jack 8, 10-8, because they make some legitimate straight draws. Those are more likely to be played. I would normally fold queen 8. Had it folded to me, I would have played just because of this wreck in the button, or in the big blind, rather. However, the chance was taken away from me. Table 4 will open ace queen from the cutoff. That one went down pre-flop quickly. We get a 3x open for middle position on table 1. I'm in the cutoff with pocket kings. Definitely going to be going ahead and putting in a 3-bet here. Thought this guy might do something cutesy like cold call. Or just against the original raising player from middle position. Against a 4-bet, I'm of course going to ship it in. Against a call, as long as it's not some kind of really nasty flop like ace high or monotone without the proper suits for me, I'm going to be looking to start dusting off. That's a nice board for me, and that any kind of 9x type hand or any kind of smaller overpairs like 10s, jacks, or even queens could be in there. I'm going to use a little bit larger size on these low boards, 10 high or lower. I'll go ahead and stab half pot with my overpair. Comes along for the call. The turn 9 is an interesting card in that now I'm pretty much dead to rights against any kind of trip 9s, or if he had, eights full or deuce, or, set of aces or set of deuces, now he's filled up. Those weren't going anywhere anyway. I think I'm going to like this a bit better by checking back and evaluating the river. I can call down pretty much any river. I can also reopen for thinner value. Not thinner value, but reopen for value if he checks the river again. I think on that particular card, I'm going to go ahead and prefer to check back. Maybe garner some information based on what he does. Either way, a bet's going in on this river with this hand. He checks again. The question is, do I jam to try to get hero called by weaker? Or do I bet smaller? I don't know that he's going to be disciplined enough to really check trips or full houses there. I think this might look awfully suspicious. It's not that big an overbet, little over 2x. I'm going to use the jam size here. I won't get called as frequently by hands like pocket tens, pocket jacks with the jam size as I will with the smaller size, but I think I'll get called enough by those kind of one pair hands I beat with the jam to just justify it, because I'll make a lot more money when I do get called down here. Plus, it looks kind of suspicious. I can have quad nines. I can have eights full. Although he may not give me credit for three betting those kind of hands there, so it may look a little bit bluffy, even though I legitimately can have lockdown hands. He Hero called me with an 8, so I think the all-in size there was a great decision if I was getting called down by a hand that's genuinely just a bluff catcher, as opposed to an overpair that feels like it might have some strength. Probably incorrectly, but might feel that way. Table 1, open an ace-9 suited for middle position. Recreational player comes along in the small blind. I get a jack 6-3 two-tone board where I do have the nut flush draw. Table 4, we have a limper. I'll complete my small blind with queen 6 suited. Table deuce, go ahead and put in my small bet. Great flop on table 4, queen 6-6 rainbow to go with my queen 6. I'm going to go ahead and start trying to get some value in with the queen 6 on table 4. Stab for half pot. I think I will keep barreling with my nut flush draw up here. I'll use the half pot size just because he's a little bit shallower, only about 45 blinds deep. If I river the flush, I can still just jam on him. He did not, and he donk leads the river for pot. Now, if I had spiked an ace as opposed to a king, I think I still look him up there and just hope I'm good often enough to justify. With total arrogance, that pot size donk lead from the recreational player, I'll just go ahead and give up my busted draw. Table 1, going to go ahead and 3-bet the middle position, 2.5x open from my button with the suited connector with 6-5 suited. Table 2, checked in the big blind with king deuce, and then checked the flop, which checked back on ace 5-4. Turn is a 9, putting a backdoor flush draw up there. With my flush draw blocker and my gutshot, I'm going to go ahead and stab the turn and plan to follow through on the river. Get 4-bet on table 1. Kind of interesting here. I got a decent hand to defend 4-bets with. Think about this for a minute. I'm in position, get a middle position guy. 4-bet me. Went from 8.5 to 20. Say 4-bet me. Kind of on the small side for not a position. I think I'll just go ahead and defend this and look to play a flop, play some poker. Living clean and running pure. Flopping 2 pair in a 4-bet pot after calling a 4-bet light. This one should be fun. As long as he doesn't find a way to show up with pocket tens, I think I'm pretty happy about this one. He goes ahead and stabs for a quarter, 10 into 40. I'm just going to go ahead and ship all in over the top. Got some action up here. A min raise, a call, a 3-bet from the small blind. I'm going to go ahead and cold 4-bet my pocket kings and look to get them in. I think I can go queens plus or ace king here to stack off. I can maybe even get called by ace king over here that just thinks I'm doing this with the draw, which would be really cool. Table 3, you get a 3x open from middle position. I will 3-bet out of my big blind with pocket aces. He calls me off with ace 10. He turned a backdoor flush draw, but he doesn't get all the way there. My 6-5 is good. No, he's over there cussing me out right now for calling the 4-bet, but hey, I'm here for it. Table 4, we have a limp pot. Small blind leads out 1.9 into 2.85. I'll go ahead and call with my second pair and open-ended straight draw on 5-4-3 two-tone. He continues blasting, although blasting maybe is a strong term. That's 542 into 821. Go ahead and defend again. Fours. Fours are good cards. Twos are good cards. Sevens are good cards. The 3 is not all that bad a card. I have a full house now. I lose to 5x or 3x, but I always did. Table 3, open an ace-jack suited from the button. Lost our rec up here on table 1. I think it's a good time to make him feel like he got hit and ran by a lunatic cold calling. This is probably not a bluff. But the odds I'm getting are so damn good, I just feel like I've got a call here with the 4. I'm expecting to be showing a 5 or a small overpair an awful lot. And that's why you don't fold those against those small bets. Table 1, I get check raised after a small bet on Jack 8-9 Rainbow. Calling obviously with top pair, top kicker, and the backdoor flush draw. Table 4, going to go ahead and limp my small blind against the limper with ace-5 off. I don't know if he's deciding or this table froze on table 2. Nothing's really going on up there. Table 3, he checks to me on that board pairing 9. I'll check back. Not an ideal card for me, but I'm happy to keep the pot a bit smaller and move it towards showdown. I guess I could stab small and plan to check back the river. Well, half pot stab on king 8, 5-8 over here. Check call against the recreational player. And now when he jams all in, it's going to be an easy fold. I think I want to hero call this particular spot over here just because we're in a loose formation. I'm gonna call this one down. Yeah, queen 5. Not an unreasonable play for him to attack that with the gut shot, especially when he used a small bet on a board where you could maybe argue for a size up, given how coordinated it was. Plus, it's a loose formation where I'm gonna have so much bullshit that just folds. And he's got equity. My cutoff open over here on table 3 gets 3 bet. I'll just go ahead and fold ace-10, especially with him a bit shorter. Unless he may think, fuck this guy for just hero calling me down there against his overbet bluff. I don't like the looks of this up here on table 2 at all. I hope he just folded and I picked up that pot and my cold 4-bet wasn't lost into the ether thanks to Ignition's top-notch tech support team that keeps these games up and running at full throttle. Yeah, this table froze out. Interestingly enough, I'm able to click the hand history button and see other hands that have gone on after me. I'm the pocket king's hand I picked up pre-flop, so I at least didn't lose my money. I'm happy about that, even though I wanted to keep playing. Next hand, I was dealt ace queen on the button, and I timed out, and well, at least we know that this table is dead for me, and that I didn't lose my cold 4-bet with pocket kings. I suppose I'll take it, all things considered. Table 3, gonna open 6-5 suited from the button. Shorter stacks over here on the new table 1. I like the looks of that. Table 3, gonna open pocket 7s from the cutoff. Just a 3x open, then a call. I'm just going to go ahead and fold my big blind 6-2 suited. A couple of recreational players, but the little donk-on-donk violence on one another. Pocket kings against third pair on a coordinated board. Although I guess given that it was all the money he had left in this buy-in, it can't be too bad to call down with short on value there. Pre-flop call is awfully suspect, but when he's playing 88-25 with 100% limp for the first 2 orbits, he doesn't seem like he's too discriminating a player. Any 2 will do. Table 3 will open 7-6 suited under the gun. Thought this guy was kind of fishy, or at least I was questioning it because he was limping behind. He's got some more limps on his record. He hasn't raised at all pre-flop. I think it's safe to say that he is not a serious player. Cold call out of the small blind as well. I'm going to keep an eye on this guy. Not necessarily bad, but not something that all good regs do. It's something that pretty much all fish will do. So we'll keep an eye on him. Table 1 going to open ace-queen from the cutoff. Table 3 on the ace-7 deuce two-tone board. Going to go ahead and put in a small bet. Got second pair. Blocker to his most likely strong hand, pocket 7s that could be calling from the small blind, looking to spike a set. And you have a backdoor flush draw to go with my hand. Silliness going on over here. A limp, an ISO, a call. Trying to wonder if I can squeeze here. Probably not. I think that's a little too out of line, but see where I'm thinking. Table 1, get a recreational player calls. We get a check 2 on a 10-6-4 two-tone board. I'm going to size up and range split on this board, and a hand like ace-queen is fine to check back. I don't really fold out too many pairs. You know, if he's got hands like queen, jack, king, queen, little fold, it doesn't do me any good to get him to fold those. I want him to keep those in and make a weaker pair, out-kicked pair. And same thing with the weaker aces as well. He leaves into me for about half pot on the turn. That 5-turn. River is the ace of hearts that gives me top pair second kicker, also closes the flush. I'm going to go ahead and stab for value here. No sense overbetting. A 3/4 size will do. I could have some 7x type hands there also that called the turn with an open-ended straight draw. And are now bluffing. I guess a lot of those have bet the flop, but I can have bluffs there. Believe me, I can always have bluffs. That's not my problem. Table 1, opening jack 9 suited from middle position. Table 3, get a 2.5x open under the gun. I will 3-bet my button with pocket 7s. Games didn't seem all that great when I first started, but now they look like they are picking up. Table 4, open ace-queen from what's effectively middle position. Table 3, my 3-bet faces a cold 4-bet from the small blinds, but he sizes it awfully small, a little over 2x. I think I can probably come along on this one, too. Yeah, he should probably size that a little bit larger. I think I'd be more up around 21. I'm still calling with my pairs, but Now, a board like this, I just don't know that there's any need to play my continuation range for a jam. I mean, I'm talking out my rear end here. I don't really know how 4-bet pots work, and when I try to train on them, I perform very poorly compared to a solver. That said, it seems like I can float with my flush draws. If I found a way to have trip deuces, which I'm not sure how the hell I would, I can float with those. If I've got tens full, there's no sense jamming with that. I think I'll just go ahead and call my continuation range here. I could also have aces as a trap, which is now aces full. Table one, just gonna go ahead and try to bluff with my weak king high. Didn't fold out ace high, so it didn't do much of anything for me. Now he goes ahead and he bets very small again. He bets 8 into 54. I'm still continuing with my pairs against that size, mostly folding the river. Pocket 8's got there, not pocket 7's. The question is there any merit in turning this into a bluff should he check? Or bet small. Now I can have, what can I have here? I can have pocket 10s, I can have pocket aces, I can have pocket 8s, I can have 9 real good hands. I really shouldn't have that many bluffs. If I'm just trying to pick bluffs in a balanced fashion, I should probably pick my busted flush draws or stuff that has good removal to any kind of ace. I guess I could even have a little bit of ace queen, ace jack here that can call down with as well, but I probably wouldn't raise those. I think the move here is folding. I just don't give guys credit for finding that triple barrel bluff for 20% on the river on a spot like this. Could very much be blocking with a hand like kings, queens, maybe jacks. Kings and queens are more likely. I'm going to let this one go, though. Table 4, opening jack 9 from the cutoff. It looks like mostly recreational types left over here. Interesting board. 10, 7, 6 rainbow. I do have a gut shot. 2 shorter stack recreational players are out there. If these guys were deeper, I'd be betting. Given that they're shorter and having to check, bet fold or bet call off with the gut shot here, those both kind of suck. Plus, also, if I can check back and hit an 8, any 9 is going to really pay me off against my stone cold nuts. King's a pretty decent card there, too, and then I now have a double gut shot. So I think checking back that flop was a reasonable way to go about things. Now this guy bets the turn small, and he folds out the other player for me. I can continue with my double gutter, and I can call off or value bet should I hit or bluff on a blank. That jack river is interesting. It does close the flush. It doesn't beat the king, but it beats other stuff. He blasts for full pot. Slight overbet. It's not that strong a hand. And I also don't know that these guys turn. I think it's okay to fold this just because so much of the hands that I beat are unlikely to be turned into bluffs, much less slight overbet bluffs, because a lot of his busted draws also have a pair that may just check. I don't know that he's turning 6x or 7x type hands into bluffs here that much. I think I'll fold on the jack. Had I hit that queen, hit that 8, I'd be happy to call off, of course. On the jack, I think I will fold. Or had he checked and I blanked out, I could have bluffed, but I think I'll let that one go. Get a 2.5x open from the button over here on table 3. I will defend my big blind with queen 10. Go to the flop. Second pair on king 10, 6 two-tone. He bets small. I will check call with my second pair. Continue checking. He bets again. Check call again. River is a deuce. I guess he could have backdoored 5-4, but otherwise the draw is bricked out. And now he overbets the river. I am a little suspicious here. He's been aggressive so far. It seems like he's using some kind of aggressive bullying type line that a lot of the MDA type players are real heavy into. Thinking about it. Oh, I think I wanted a hero call that. I fucked up my time bank on that 4-bet pod. I was leaning towards hero calling him there. Have to check the hands in a day or two and see if I would have been right or wrong. I mean, it's a loose formation. He used a small flop bet size. Suspicious that he wouldn't overbet the turn if he wants to overbet the river on some level. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but I will open 9-3 suited on the button over here just because we've got a recreational player. I am going to go ahead and shuffle out of this table just because I've lost my time bank and that's going to be a problem for me. I do have a wreck there, but there's wrecks all over the pool right now. Table 2, get a 2.5x open from under the gun. I'll 3-bet my button with pocket 8s. Table 4 will open blind on blind with ace 3. Board like that can smash the calling range so heavily there. I'm just going to go ahead and check range in this blind battle. Table 1, get a 2.5x open for middle position, and a fishy cutoff player comes along for the call. I think I can come along in here with the Jack Queen, Queen Jack offsuit. Just go ahead and check full of my weak ace high on that coordinated board. Do have a decent top pair over here on Queen 3 Deuce Rainbow in table 1. More looking to get value against the recreational player than the pre-flop raising player. Check range out of position to 2 players and flow to the player with initiative. I like that he checks. Get a 6 on the turn that also puts a flush draw out there. I'm going to go ahead and start betting this hand. Either get some value from draws or make these hands fold. Table 2 going to open ace 8 suited from what's effectively the cutoff on this particular hand. Table 2, the big blind calls and checks to me on Jack 9-5 monotone. I'll go ahead and put in a small stab here with my ace 8. Not going to get involved against too much aggression there with no spade in my hand. Table 1, get a recreational player open limps the cutoff in a 24 blind stack. I am quite happy to isolate from the button with ace 10. And up here on table 2, get a 2.5x button open. Queen 7, a little bit loose to defend. Got some real good reason to do things differently. Go ahead and fold the king 6 against the short stacks button min raise also. Limp call over here on the Queen Queen 8 board. I think I'm actually going to check this back just because I got showdown value. That Jack's a cute card now that 9s or Kings are both straights. Really not folding out a Queen or an 8 ever anyway, so I'm really not folding too much better by betting. I'll just keep checking my ace high. Now I've got a double paired board, Queens and Jacks with an 8 out there. I think I'll just take my showdown. I doubt he's really calling. He also had ace 10, so all my pontificating about what I should do didn't really matter. We had the same damn hand all along. Table 1, going to open pocket 5s from middle position. Table 2, going to 3-bet 7-6 suited from the cutoff against the middle position open. Table 2 be opening Queen 9 suited from middle position. Short stack on about 25 blinds. Min raises me from 2.5 blinds to 5. I'm coming along with the pocket 5s. Flop a set on 9-7-5 two-tone. He goes ahead and puts about half his remaining stack in with the pot size bet, so I'll go ahead and put the rest in with bottom set. He calls off. He's got pocket jacks for an overpair. Turned some extra equity, but didn't get all the way there. My 5s are good. His flop call is fine. His pre-flop raise sizing is pretty atrocious, though, if you ask me. I think he should probably just hit that stack that just jam over me. Get a min raise from the deuce passive cutoff player on 40 blinds. I'll defend my big blind with ace deuce and check to him on the flop. Table 4 opening 9-8 suited from middle position. We're four-handed, a player in position and 2 players out of position versus me. I'll just go ahead and check here. I don't think I'm checking range. With that coordinated board, I'm probably not going to be betting too thinly. I'll go ahead and check my second pair. I think that's pretty easy. He has checked all the way through on table 1 on the Queen, Queen 10, Ace 6 board. I think I should just go ahead and try to get value with my aces and queens. Table 4, going to go ahead and put in a small bet on Queen, Jack 10. I guess I could size up there as well. It doesn't really matter against a fish. I do have the low end of the straight. However, I now have the low end of the 4 straight. When an ace, ace makes any possible straight, makes a better hand. Any ace, rather, makes a better straight. And I could also be losing to flushes. I'll check back on that turn. Table 1, limper. Same player limps. I'm going to go ahead and isolate up here at the small blind with Jack 10 suited. Against 2 players stabbing. I don't really have anything in the way of great backdoor draws. I'll just go ahead and fold. He goes ahead and leads for half pot. I'm just going to go ahead and hero call this for the low end of the straight. He had 10-9 versus my 8-9. Table 4, get a 2.5x open from the button. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet on my big blind with ace-king. Blind on line, and Queen 7's kind of close. He's been aggressive somewhat with this 3-bet, so I'll just go ahead and let that one go. Table 1, 2.5x open from middle position. I'll 3-bet my cutoff with King 10 suited. Queen 8 on the button, not a standard open, but I do have a fish in the big blind, so I'm going to go ahead and go after him. Table 4, opening Ace 4 suited from the cutoff. My Ace 4 suited on table 4 faces a big blind 3-bet. I think I can defend this one. A little rusty, haven't played in about a week. Forget some of the more cuspier hands, how I want to approach them. Yeah, I can defend at least a couple of the wheel aces like Ace 5 and Ace 4. When we get a 2.5x open from the cutoff up here on table 2, I can defend my big blind with Jack 9. Did a half pot bet on table 4 on the King 8-5. I mean, I do have a backdoor wheel draw, backdoor flush draw. It's kind of weak arguments for continuing, though. Table 2, I flop an open ender on Queen 10-4 two-tone. I face a small 1/3 flop bet. Going to go ahead and attack that with the check raise. Table 4, going to open King 9 suited from middle position. Table 3, going to open 9-8 blind on blind. Go to the flop 3-handed on table 4. One player, short recreational player in position, a reg type player out of position. Going to go ahead and put in a small flop bet here with my gut shot, flush draw, and overcard. Interesting turn for me in that I actually have the second nut flush draw and the flush blocker here. I'm going to keep barreling my open ender and my jack of hearts. Now the recreational player raises me. I obviously will not be folding a hand with this much equity here. I think the best move is just going to be jam over the top and see if this guy screwed up with a raise fold type hand. You know, I've got clubs, queens, or kings to make me likely the best hand here if he does calm me down. Maybe some fold equity too. I don't think he's going to fold a lot just because recreational players really don't. But you never know. They do silly things all the time. This wouldn't even register. There we go. This is why we play. Get a 2.5x open from the cutoff on table 2. I will be 3-betting out of my small blind with Ace 9 suited. Open 8-10 offsuit from table 3's button. Especially since we seem to have a fish right here. This is a great board to size up and split. I go more like half pot, second pair open ender. I'm very content to check that one back and see what the turn brings us, both on cards and his action. He stabs for half pot on that 5, putting the 4 straight out there. I'll go ahead and call. I think the 6 is the dream card for me because he'll call off looking for a chop. Not realizing he's not getting it. Table 2, my 3-bet faces a 4-bet. I think I should be folding. I think I could actually come along with Ace 10 or Ace Jack. I think I'll fold the Ace 9. Over here, I'll take my showdown with my weak pair. Second pair. Yeah, same hand, but out kicked. Table 2, opening pocket queens from the button. Recreational player comes along, get a King Jack 8 two-tone board. I think I'll go ahead and bet this one small on the flop and then check back the turn. Unless I hit the queen, of course. Checking back is also reasonable here, especially against a shorter stack recreational player. Could go either way. Table 1, opening Jack 9 suited from the button. Recreational player on about a third of the stack comes along for a call, checks to me on ace 5-4. I will stab small and then shut down the turn. Table 3, opening ace 4 suited from under the gun. Table 1, opening king queen from the cutoff. Get a limp and an isolation raise from the button over here on table 2. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet, obviously, with ace king out of the big blind. And the rec limps and then calls both raises. We get an ace jack jack rainbow board. He's got about half pot left. I see no merit in doing anything but checking and giving him a chance to put his money in completely dead against my top pair top kicker. He puts it in. Let's hope there's no jack. He has jack 9 offsuit. This is why we play. Just occasionally it backfires on us, but I think that is extremely straightforward and properly played hand. Table 3, going to go ahead and limp against the limper out of my small blind with queen 5 suited. Big blind's not having it and pops us up. Worth a shot. I'm going to shut it down and go have some dinner. Hey, kicking me aces on the way out the door. Recreational player limps up here on table 1. I will go ahead and isolate from the button with my pocket aces. Along limp calls. 5-6-5 two-tone board. I'm going to go ahead and put in a small bet. Quickly calls. Turn is a 6. Not an ideal card for me, and that any 5 or any 6 now has me crushed pretty badly. I'll content to check back. The 6 is a good river card, however, in that now I've got 6s full of aces, and I really only lose to the case 6. Everything else should be a chop, or if he has some kind of pocket pair, he even actually beats the board. Little more than a pot-sized bet left in his stack. I think the move here is all in. Call for your chop, bro. He's a legend if he's slow rolling me with the quad 6s. Last hand on table 2, gonna open ace jack. Got fish all over the table here. I'm gonna go a little loose and open my king 5 suitor from under the gun on table 4. But done up here too, yeah, last hand. Okay, so that's the end of the session, end of the video. Till next time, this is Charlie Murphy signing off, and thank you for tuning in and watching.